So does a foam cannon actually prevent swirl marks in your paint? Now it's a misconception that just because you have a lot of foam going onto your car that's gonna help prevent swirl marks, add more lubrication and all that good stuff. But is it just the thickness of the foam? So in today's video, I'm gonna explain to you exactly why a foam cannon helps to either prevent or at least reduce swirl marks when you're washing your car. So what are swirl marks in your vehicle's paintwork? Well, technically they're little scratches within the clear coat of your vehicle. Now sometimes these little scratches are actually referred to as love marks because very simply, even as you're caring for your car, you can actually introduce these things. Modern clear coats are a lot softer than old ones, at least for some makes and models. Some others are quite hard, but as a general rule of thumb, a little bit softer, not as thick as it used to be. And when you take the sun, the round sun, and reflect it off the paintwork, it creates a swirl mark, right? So you look into it and you see all these kind of round circles going around. And that's not necessarily that they're round, it's just multiple scratches and then the reflection of the sun that creates that sort of look. Now, even on the car behind me, this is my Porsche Cayman, and it's not very, very dirty, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you some up-close pictures and video of what this thing actually has sitting on the surface of it. Now, as you can see from a distance, this car looks pretty good, but when you get up close, it has a nice layer of dust, some dirt, debris, and things like that sitting on the surface of the paintwork. Now, I think for most of you watching this video, you understand that there are some pretty standard recommendations on how to take care of your car and how to wash it safely. But in today's video, I want to dive in deep and see exactly what causes those swirl marks so you can prevent it and the best ways to do that. So if you're a DIYer at home, if you don't have a foam cannon, if you don't have a pressure washer and you're just using a typical garden hose and wash bucket kind of method, what happens is you rinse the vehicle down and that is not going to remove all of this surface contamination that's on the car. Then when you take your wash mitt or whatever wash media you're going to be using out of the bucket, you're going to be putting it onto the surface and all those little grains of dirt, dust, all that kind of stuff is going to be sitting between the paintwork, right? So here's your paint, here's all that debris, and then your wash mitt comes over the top of that and then grinds it across the surface of your paint. And that's why it's important to use high quality soaps for your contact wash, for the foam cannon, all that kind of good stuff, because it's going to help both lubricate and encapsulate and lift some of that dirt. So even if you are coming across it, it won't be completely stuck on there. So even though it's maybe grinding, a lot of it's gonna move with you and be lubricated so it just slides off the surface. So that alone will help reduce your swirl marks, but if you want to prevent it, let's talk about the foam cannon. So in today's video, we're going to be utilizing the Quivr foam cannon along with Quivr Rogue. This is my pH neutral, high foaming soap. Now again, high foaming is great, it looks great, it's more fun to work with, but there's more reasoning behind it than just a lot of foam. It actually creates a longer dwell time, especially with this, it's a dual surfactant based soap. It's going to blanket the car and then stay on the surface longer, allowing you to give two things, right? Giving it more time to penetrate the dirt and help to break it and release it from the surface. And then also it's going to add even more lubrication because that surface is staying with all the surfactants and lubrication from the soap on it. So now I'm gonna go ahead and walk you through my basic wash process utilizing this product. And as I'm doing that, I will go ahead and talk you through why I do that in these steps. Okay, so first things first, whenever you're washing your car, you wanna make sure to use the best practices you possibly can. Ideally, don't wash in direct sunlight if you don't have to. Now, the products in my Quivr lineup are direct sun friendly. However, if you can do it, you wanna make sure the surface of the vehicle is nice and cool to the touch. Try and do it once at dusk or dawn or in the shade somewhere. Just best practices, right? Now for me as a professional detailer for the past 20 years and the majority of that being mobile where I go to the customer's house, I don't always have the luxury of working in those situations. Sometimes it's dead noon, the sun is directly overhead, I have no shade. That's why I created this product to be able to work in direct sun, where if it dries on the panel, I can rinse it away, it reactivates and rinses away really nicely. But one of the other benefits is I'm using spot-free deionized water, which allows me to let it dwell that long, right? I don't have to worry about it drying on the panel at all. If you are just working at home and you don't have spot-free water, just make sure to not let it dry on the surface so that you will prevent any water spots. Okay, so step number one, as the car sits, right, we made sure that the surface isn't too hot. We're going to foam the product on immediately. We didn't rinse the vehicle down yet. Now, there are cases where I will rinse the vehicle first. Again, the situations like I talked about when I'm working mobile. If the surface is really hot, I'll give it a quick rinse just from a distance. I'm not getting up close to it, but to do that to try and drop the surface temperature down a little bit. In this case, I don't have to worry about it. We're gonna go ahead and apply the foam directly onto the dry vehicle. Now, like I said before, we're gonna go ahead and let this dwell on the paint. We're not gonna let it dry onto the surface though, right? We just wanna let it dwell, let it do its thing, let it break the tension between the debris on the surface, and also start to break down some of the heavier contamination, right? It'll soften it up and make it so that it rinses away much easier. Think of it like a piece of toast, right? And a crunchy piece of toast, if you put that underwater, it's gonna get nice and soggy. And think about that. If you take a piece of toast and rub it on your arm, I don't know why you would do that, but that would be kind of painful, right? If it's overly burnt, versus a soft piece of bread, no damage at all. Okay, so now that we let the foam dwell on the surface, we're going to go ahead and rinse this away. Now, an important thing I think is you don't have to get super technical and 100% of this off, because we're gonna foam on again. What this is really for is removing the majority of that surface debris off of the vehicle's paintwork. Again, when we go in for our contact wash, right, if there's 100% of that debris, we put it on there, we're gonna be dragging a lot of that. If this reduces it down to 30% or even 50% of that debris, it's gonna be much safer for us to be able to do our contact wash. Now, like I said, you don't have to worry about it getting it out of every little crack and crevice, because we are gonna be foaming this on again. But as you can see, now that we did that, the majority is off, and now we are in a much safer position to go ahead and do the next step. And that next step is part 2, and that's where we're going to foam this back onto the car. Now, dwell time here isn't quite as important, right? Because now we just need it for the lubrication and all that kind of good stuff. So we foamed it on the car. We also have a bucket full of water and a little bit of Quivr Rogue in there to add a bunch of lubrication to the wash mitt as well. And now we can start washing this thing down. Now, personally, I like to start from the top and work my way down. Now, the reason I like to do that is usually the bottom half of the vehicle gets the most contamination, right? Road grime and all that getting picked up onto the lower panels as you're driving. And again, safe practice here. If we start up top, this area is gonna be a bit cleaner than those lower side panels. So we're gonna clean that area. Then we'll be able to either switch to new wash media or rinse that one out. Many things you can do there. But we can do that before going over, and I saved those lower panels for last so that I don't contaminate my wash media too much. Now, once we went over the entire vehicle and did our contact wash, so now everything is nice and loose, obviously we're gonna go ahead and do another rinse. And this time we're gonna get a little bit more detailed, right? We're gonna make sure that all the soap is removed from every little nook and cranny. And in this car in particular, you actually have to open up the door. It kind of traps a lot in the door jamb, it traps a lot in the track for the rear hatch. So I just like to open everything up and rinse that all out. Just be careful you're not flooding out the interior of your car, but just work with your pressure washer, run it along the side, and you'll be good to go. All right, now that the car is all washed and clean, it's still wet, and now we need to dry it. Now, drying can introduce its whole, kind of a whole nother world of potential of micro marring, love scratches, things like that cause those swirl marks. So in order to help prevent that, there's many things you can do. If your car's ceramic coated, it's going to glide across the surface much easier. You're not gonna have to worry about it too much. If it's not, and the surface of your car, the paint is a little bit tacky, meaning it a little bit grabby, right? Not super slick. That's when I take this product here. This is my Quivr HOT COAT. This is a ceramic detail spray, very easy to use. It will help to reduce the water tension on the surface, and then it makes it glide across the surface much easier when you're using your drying towel. And for this step, guys, it is important to use a high quality drying towel. You don't want to use your beach towel that you've used for going to the beach. There may be sand grains in there. Plus the fibers of that towel are not soft, not as absorbent as they should be, so there are dedicated drying towels for cars. I have 2 that I recommend from my lineup. We have the Quivr Not a Beach Towel. This is a micro twist loop construction. Really nice because you don't have to worry about it grabbing onto emblems either. Still absorbs an absolute ton of water. And then also we have the Quivr Nazare, which is our massive drying towel. It's huge, 80 inches by 40 inches for those larger vehicles. Highly recommend. I use it. I actually use it for most vehicles anyway, even on this thing. But outside of that, there are some other incredible towels from the House of Rags. We have the GOAT. This is the greatest of all drying towels. And it is a super plush, super thick, really nice premium microfiber. They also have the Diva drying towel, another phenomenal choice. Autofiber makes a ton of good ones as well. You have the Dreadnought towels from Autofiber. But basically, what that is all alluding to is I prefer either a twist loop or a micro twist loop for drying because I feel that it absorbs the most water and it's just fantastic. Now again, if your vehicle is ceramic coated and you would just rather not use a drying towel at all because you're trying to just do this as touch-free as possible, you can use a leaf blower or any sort of dedicated blower. I've done reviews on a bunch of different ones, but you can do that. It'll blow the water off the surface. It's very, very easy to do. Now my personal favorite way of drying a car is to towel first and then grab a blower and blowing out all these tight spots to make sure that I'm not gonna get any drips down the road. And then as my final step, I will take just a nice, clean, typical 16 by 16 style microfiber towel. I'll take a spritz of hot coat, spray that into the towel, and buff out any little areas that I may have missed, or to pick up any areas that may have dripped back out after blow drying it. So after all of that, we gotta revisit the original question. Does a foam cannon actually prevent or help reduce swirl marks? And the answer is 100% yes. Not exclusively to the foam cannon, but the foam cannon is a huge part in the process to be able to get a nice swirl-free finish. So again, the foam cannon, a high-grade soap, right? Something really, really slick. Again, long dwell time. I like the high foaming, it's just more fun. And that dual surfactant really, really helps as well. And following some proper techniques and guidelines so that you don't induce more damage than you need to. So that's it for today's video, guys. I hope that video helps you. Please make sure to like the video, make sure you subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and we will see you guys on the next one.